All right, hi, this is Paul Slatkis. I'm speaking to Laurie Greene. Hey, Laurie, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
This Laurie's phenomenal here. You're a university professor and LGBTQ Youth Safe Space Initiative founder at Stockton University, and you're a doctor. So what Stockton? What is that? Pennsylvania?
It's in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Stockton is in Atlantic City. So
Yeah,
that's
we used to have some interesting stuff because we used to be in Pomona. Our main campus, I should say, is in Pomona, New Jersey, and it's called Stockton University. And people used to think we were Pomona College in Stockton, California, but we're not. We're
yeah.
originally from Atlantic City. Our campus then moved to Galloway, which is offshore, and now we're back in Atlantic City with a satellite campus.
Wow. With what is that?
A satellite campus.
A satellite campus.
Yeah.
And are
Mhm.
you, what are you doing over there?
Teaching.
What are you teaching?
Anthropology. In fact, I do something called the anthropology of embodiment, which is how we experience the world and make meaning of from the world through our bodies.
Are you Margaret Mead?
I am not, but she is one of my heroes, I have to tell you. It's an
Yeah.
interesting fact as well that anthropology is the only academic discipline that is dominated by women.
Hey, okay, all right, I can go with that. But I made a show with Donald Johansson, who found Lucy,
Yeah.
because I started Nature Series on PBS, and we had him as our initial host, and then George Page took it. I love anthropology. I think it's special. Why do you love anthropology?
I can't tell you how much I love what I do. I say this all the time. Why do I love what I do? One reason I love what I do is I get to tell stories and history from the perspective of something else besides war. I do it from people's experiences and other people's voices, and I get to amplify those. I love what I do because I don't have to have a research question. I get to embed and embody myself in a research site. And through that, the question that I want to research just evolves. This particular book, in terms of drag queens and beauty queens, it didn't just evolve, it sort of hit me over the head like a sledgehammer.
Okay.
And I love that what I do can make a difference. The way that the information that I collect and the way that I write it and the stories I tell, I always hope, contribute to the well-being of the people that I'm studying.
All right, I love it. So give me a story from the book.
All right. Well, a story.
Well, no, I'm just,
Yeah. Well,
we start with A and then we're going to go to B, C, D. We're going to cover the whole alphabet.
okay, that sounds good. Well, first of all, I want to say if people aren't familiar, the book is about two iconic pageants that have originated and been nurtured and developed in Atlantic City. So they are, by definition, a product of our city and our culture here. One is everyone knows about, probably, which is the Miss America pageant, which started in 1930. And the that has just had its 100th year anniversary last year.
Uh-huh.
And the other is its drag sister, the homage to the pageant that started in around 1992, and that's called the Missed America pageant. And so, what I've done in this book is I have traced the coevolution of these pageants so that we can see a little history of both Atlantic City and, in particular, the important impact that the gay community has had here on both our city and on these two pageants. So that's the reason I've written the book. I'll tell one story. I like this story because it is something that people in Atlantic City don't even know. And that is that, or most don't know, and that is that we have a famous aspect of the Miss America pageant is called the Show Us Your Shoes parade. And this is like sort of the most beloved part of the pageant because it's not stodgy. And it started out as a Miss America parade the night before the pageants, where the girls got dressed in their evening gowns and white gloves, and they were very, very proper. And they went down the boardwalk in the backs of convertibles with their ankles crossed, and that's how it started. But there were drag queens and gay men that lived on the two apartments on the corner of New York Avenue and the boardwalk, which was the center of the gayborhood, New York Avenue. And they would sit on their balconies and look down at the girls and start reading them, because they saw they weren't wearing shoes and they were wearing socks in the car or something. So they'd yell down, "Show us your shoes," to try to embarrass them. And they were instructed, when you go to New York Avenue, don't react, just look straight ahead. And one parade, one of the girls lifted her foot up in the air and everyone started screaming. And after that, Miss America pageant gave in, and to the pressure, but they trademarked the words "show us your shoes" so that no one could use them after that. And they called it the "Show Us Your Shoes" parade, where they dressed their shoes in really what can be described in nothing other than camp style, and whimsical representations, they say, of their states. And it's parade down the boardwalk. Now they scream and yell, "Show us your shoes" at New York Avenue when the parade was still here. But it's one of those stories that's been straight washed, in our community, where people, straight washed. The story on the Miss America website says, "Oh, some people were yelling on New York Avenue, and so this whimsical parade was born. This family-friendly parade was born." So it's a great story and an example of, just a small example of the queering, of this pageant that happened because of the gay community in Atlantic City.
Did you say the word queering?
I did.
You're cool. So I grew up in the shoe business, and I somehow could not spell, and I somehow ended up in show business. 50 years now. But I love the show business, and I'm going to get back in it now. But what I also love is the freedom. So I have a freedom tie on, mainly because I did the 20th anniversary of Woodstock with Richie Havens. And he started the original Woodstock, and I did in Times Square here, blah, 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 blah. So I love people. Any shape, size, color. It's a beautiful thing, and everybody should just have a good time. And obviously, you're under that same mantra. Would you say that's your mantra?
I like to think of myself as somebody that likes people. There are days, there are days when I think like humans, not a fan, but then there are days that, my faith is restored. And certainly, I'm a people watcher. That's my job. I find human beings extremely interesting. When people ask me, what did I learn most out of doing this particular book, I always say people are more complicated than you ever know. And this is the first time I've studied and written about people. Many of them I actually knew because I've lived here for almost 40 years. And it's a very difficult thing, to try to truthfully portray people when they disagree with one another, and all of them. But the most interesting thing to me is these people I knew, I really didn't know. And because they're so much more complex and interesting than I knew they were before I started talking to them and hearing their stories, and hopefully telling the stories from their voices in this particular book.
Let me ask you a question. In the particular book that you were talking, do you have that book near you by chance?
I do.
Let's see what we got here. Drag queens, beauty queens. Raise the book up just a little. And so what is that picture of?
Oh, well, this is actually of the Show Us Your Shoes parade. And what you're looking at is past one of the girls holding up her shoe on New York Avenue, to one of our drag queens, one of the originals actually of the Miss America pageant, the famous shout out to Morgan Wells, who is also maybe more well known for Morgan Wells Dry Closet. He's one of the main costumers of drag queens in the world. And he is our very own.
All right. I don't know Morgan Wells, but I do know costume designers and set decorators, because I started at CBS in '72. And my first job actually was to work as assistant manager of the set, of the costume designers and the set decorators. And I had just gotten married, and I went into CBS, and this is in the early days of when everyone was in a closet, whoever wanted to be in a closet and felt uncomfortable to come out of a closet, I guess was the mantra. And I remember one of the guys, Ambrose DeBeck, one of the greatest of the set decorators. When I walked in there, he went to grab me, and I said, what are you doing? I hadn't met a gay person. I grew up in Tarrytown, little town, and and in college, nothing, it just never came out. I said, what are you doing? I said, I just got married. What are you doing? He goes, I'm checking you out. And all the guys laughed. I'll tell you straight out, I love gay people. Because I love gay people. That's it. It's a very simple scenario.
You don't have to have a reason.
I don't have to have a reason. I love people overall. I love everybody. I'll give you one other little silly tale, because I like silly tales too. But I was co-captain of the track team with Bruce Jenner, growing up. And Bruce has done very well in many aspects of his life, athletically, TV-wise. And I feel very good for him that he's also come out in some way of life that he feels is appropriate for him.
And now she.
I think that's wonderful. And what I also liked about him, I'll just say it for whatever 2 cents it is, there was a roast. They have these Friars Club roasts and so on. And Bruce, Caitlin was brought on there. I mean, it was maybe one of his first scenarios with those crazy people that, no matter who you are, they're going to destroy you with their comedy. And Caitlin, she held her own.
She held her own, yeah.
She did beautiful. And I was so proud because I had known her early on. So tell me more about the book, because I think it's a very, very important book for learning. Would you say that, is there an acceptance concept that evolves out of this book?
Oh, I think so. I mean, anytime you can learn about another group of people and understand their struggles and the way they think, and the resiliency, which is so much a part of this city, of Atlantic City, and our ups and downs, but also the gay community even more so. I think that you get a greater sense of compassion and empathy for other people. I do. Part of what's going on in this book is a history of the LGBTQ community. And I want to say that one thing that I feel very strongly about is the writing and the telling of what we call restorative history. And that's history of marginalized people whose stories don't usually get told, or whose voices are silenced. And I like point I try to make in this book is that history is not extra history. It's not like gay history or Black history. It is the history. We just haven't told it. And you cannot understand the history of Miss America, which there have been many books written about, without understanding the immense influence that Atlantic City itself, because the whole pageant is run by volunteers, always, and the gay community in particular has had on this icon of American culture, which has spawned every other beauty pageant in the world, is based on this format. So, that's one thing that I think can help people understand, maybe the struggles or the experiences of another group of people, certainly.
That's beautiful. Do you have a website that you share?
I do. People? Yeah, I do. I have all my works on my website, which is laurieagreene.com. And if you go there, you can find what I'm doing, whether it's my writing, whether it's my the LGBTQ youth safe space initiative that I run at Stockton University, or whether it's upcoming adventures with the ongoing contestation of Miss America, although Miss America isn't happening here anymore. Which is October 22nd to the 24th this year.
I'm going to come down I'm going to come down if I can. And
Great.
Do a show on it. We've done a lot of shows. We actually have a whole channel for the community. And I've made our shows with an organization called GLAD over the years. A long time. I'm into...
this year we have surprises too, just so you know. There's some surprises this year.
Oh, wow.
Big changes.
I'm going to leave now then.
Gotta get your tickets early.
I wanted to ask you specifically about that organization that you have at the university, Safe Space, was it called?
Yeah, it's an LGBTQ youth safe space initiative. We're just getting off the ground, and unfortunately, we had some momentum, and then COVID came, and everything sort of shut down. So we're doing a restart. And what it is sort of a unique concept, as far as we can tell, which is it's one part traditional safe space. So that would be a place where youth can come and get emergent housing, or get relayed to various services they might need, or just come as a social, a social place and be themselves. We're coupling that with research, a research institute, so that we can find best practice for things like, let's say foster care or other social services that's based on research, which is very, very scant, and disconnected from these organizations when it is published. And so that's our idea. And we're always looking for support for the organization, and you can find that at the LGBTQ Youth Safe Space Initiative in the Office of Social and Behavioral Sciences at Stockton. If you just Googled Stockton University, you'd find it.
Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna, if this is okay with you, we're recording. I'm still broadcasting, and I don't edit. So I'm gonna make this a, there seems like, I think this is the Pride Month,
Yes, it is.
Which of course brings attention. I have this heart in the back, which I've had for about 30 years. Some people might say, well, it has all the colors of the pride thing. I said, well, it's a heart. That's where we're at, but it's okay. You think, I'm okay with whatever, even my tie. We just did something at Hugo Boss, and it was, they were very out there for support of everybody, especially the communities that we're talking about. So you're my Pride special. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm honored.
I'm honored too. So everything is mutual in this world, isn't it?
Yes.
Such is life. Right. For the forward people, there is no competition. It's just, we're collaborative. We're trying to have a good time on the Mother Earth as we fly around. No, I'm a John Lennonist. No countries, no boundaries, no borders. That's from the moon. All right, last question. We're involved with World Peace. Maybe you guys can get involved with us, do something down in Atlantic City. It's the International Day of Peace, September 21st. We have been doing this for almost 20 years. Central Park, Times Square. I'd love to do something in Atlantic City. I love Atlantic City. I've opened up some casinos there for some marketplace, Asian thing. Tropicana, when it was Trop, T-R-O-P. All right, in any case, what is peace for you? Laurie, what does peace mean for you?
Oh, man, for me, peace would mean an end to the unnecessary suffering of some people in this world. That's what it would mean.
Succinct.
Not all of us suffer the same because there's no peace.
A million thoughts with a few words. Laurie, thanks so much. I'm sure.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Did you write a book, though? I wondered, did you write a book? Could I see, do you have by chance have that book near you? Could I see? Oh, there it is. Drag queens, beauty queens, and a lot of shoes.
Yeah, contesting femininity in the world's playground, which is what Atlantic City has been called in the past.
Oh, that's great. All right, Laurie, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.